Most of the press goes to horses when it comes to animals in the Old West, but they weren't the animals only to range the roam. These 4 stories Animal West old that did a lot more than up saddle, and when it comes to wasn't animals, the West only wasn't wild. It was weird. Number 1, camels roamed the Wild West. Have you heard about the United States Camel Corps? Before the Civil War, an ambitious quartermaster major named Henry Wayne proposed that camels could help the military, and the idea had legs. Camels were valuable because of their endurance, proven ability to transport heavy loads, and experience in desert climates. So in 1855, Congress let Secretary of War Jefferson Davis buy some camels. The camels were brought over, but the Civil War delayed the plans. Most of the camels were sold to zoos and carnivals, but some weren't. That's where the weird part comes in. A few camels were abandoned in the Southwest, and for years, wild camels roamed the plains. It wasn't common to see a camel out in the wild, but it wasn't unheard of either. The last wild camel was spotted near Douglas, Texas, as late as 1941. Number 2, buffalo bones were a booming economy. You may know that settlers slaughtered tens of thousands of buffalo, eventually bringing the beast to extinction. But the insatiable desire for buffalo skins isn't the weirdest thing about buffalo in the Old West. For that, you have to look to bones. The problem? Settlers killed so many buffalo that their bones were everywhere. But those bones were still useful for gelatin and for use as fertilizer, so homesteaders collected the bones and formed a vast bone trading economy. One trader estimated that $40 million worth of bones passed through processing plants. The bones from buffalo slaughter were so common that the streets of Topeka, Kansas were paved with buffalo skulls. The economy didn't last long, however, because the buffalo became incredibly rare. By 1907, they were already collector's items. Number 3, the ring-tailed cat was the West's weirdest pet. What do you get when you take a raccoon and give it feline flavor? The ring-tailed cat, the Old West's most unusual pet. Found in the West, the ringtail was easily tamed and used by miners and settlers to chase mice. At the time, it was often called a miner's cat. Some miners kept traditional domesticated cats as well, but the ring-tailed cat was uniquely suited to exterminate rodents. Miners cultivated the furry friends by letting them live in warm boxes near the stove. Number 4, bears and bulls fought to the death. It's no secret that cowboys liked to entertain themselves in unusual ways. That included having bulls and bears fight. As described in Entertainment in the Old West, Mexican cowboys initially brought bullfights and rodeo to the West for entertainment. From there, Westerners decided to bring bears into the mix. Grizzly bears were used in the fights and chained down with about 20 feet of chain to work with. Then, a bull was driven in to attack the bear. In case you were curious, the fighting style of bears and bulls is where the terms bull market and bear market probably come from. As Western spectators observed, a bear fights by dragging its opponent down while a bull fights by goring up. In conclusion, the Old West was truly a land of strange and unexpected encounters with animals. While horses often steal the spotlight in tales of the Wild West, it's fascinating to explore the lesser-known stories of other creatures that played unique roles in shaping this era. First, the camels introduced by Major Henry Wayne and the United States Camel Corps demonstrated incredible endurance and desert prowess. Although their military use was short-lived, the legacy of wild camels roaming the Southwest added an element of mystery to the region, with sightings continuing until as late as 1941. Second, the buffalo bones tell a different kind of story, one of mass slaughter and an unlikely economic boom. The sheer number of buffalo bones that accumulated as a result of this hunt created a bone trading economy, and it's intriguing to think that the streets of Topeka, Kansas, were once paved with buffalo skulls. However, this unique trade ultimately came to an end as buffalo populations dwindled. Third, the ring-tailed cat, a hybrid of raccoon and feline, became an unlikely but effective pet in the Old West. Miners and settlers turned to these miners' cats to combat rodent problems. The practice of cultivating these creatures in warm boxes near stoves speaks to the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the people of the time. Lastly, the Old West's penchant for unusual entertainment is exemplified by the spectacle of bulls and bears fighting to the death. Initially introduced by Mexican cowboys, this bizarre combination of bullfights and rodeo gave rise to the terms bull market and bear market in financial parlance. drawing a parallel between the fighting styles of these two formidable animals. In the end, the Old West wasn't just wild, it was undeniably weird, thanks in no small part to the surprising roles played by camels, buffalo bones, ring-tailed cats, and the unforgettable battles between bulls and bears. These stories remind us that history is full of unexpected twists and turns, and even in the rugged landscapes of the Old West, the animal kingdom played its own unique part in shaping the narrative of this bygone era.